learned from the lesson. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it. Working to the cover.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your Watchlist coming in September 8th, 2020, and the stock market is going to move. Or at least that is what investors are looking for. Do not forget, we're coming off of a pretty big 2 days, which left us off right where we started almost 2 weeks ago. So we talked about this. This was an important point. We closed the week kind of dramatic, so I hope you had a good holiday. I hope you're ready for this next week, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of eyes on the market. So we have a few things to talk about. I have a few different plays, strategies, and how we're going to go about playing it, as well as what to watch this week. There isn't too many economic data points or anything too big, at least. However, there are some interesting global developments that we will talk about. So I got the plays, I got the keys, and everything else. So let us not delay. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free 99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/the-stock-market. You can post the plays, see the plays, watch the watch list come to life. And yes, we have game shows. Price is Right, Jeopardy, the Colts Got Talent, Chattadonia, everything. So hopefully we see you there. And the most important thing you need to do, post your watch below to this. So what you're looking at, got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post them below and source that info. Shout out to Chad. And do not forget, this is the random account. This is where we need your help if you're listening. This is a random account. We started with $500 at the beginning of the year. What we do is take a random play from the comments on this Sunday or, well, day before trading watch list, and we arbitrarily buy it. So please comment below a random play, strike price date. We will spend up to $100, but I'm excited because it has came back to light. A lot of your guys' plays have actually been upticking. You've been seeing it in the market. You've been even seeing it with the accounts we've been trading. So pay attention to this and shout out to everybody who has participated. But right off the bat, first thing we have to talk about, is this a dip or is it a correction? It's really going to be a toss-up on both sides. Do not forget the impact of Apple and the new Dow components and kind of how all of that unfolded. We are into not the best month. However, the main factor with this week, because there's not too much data points, again, we will see if anything develops politically or if there is more news, and I'll tell you the pieces I'm going to be looking at. But the real answer is going to be with the velocity of the market. So again, you've been watching the VIX. We've talked about that. We're seeing the market move. The key is going to be how fast things move. And if we see some of that feedback loop from the call buying, put buying, and see pretty much which side is going to have more momentum and how investors react, and velocity will tell us that. So I will say, for a lot of you, be on stream. If it is going to be volatile and it is going to move, we're going to have to execute a few different strategies, and we're going to talk about that. But as far as main pieces of news and what I want to be watching tomorrow or the rest of this week, it's going to be oil. I think it's going to be key. We are not getting really big economic data. Again, there's nothing too big. There's some GDP reports from a few countries. There is one development that caught my eye on the currency perspective, and again, we're watching commodities and seeing, because if nothing really pops off, the market is pretty chill up until we see the election or shortly after. So one thing that did catch my eye was the pound and euro moving. Again, there was stuff with Brexit and kind of some drama unfolding, but I've been seeing the currencies move, and now that relates to kind of why oil is going to be key. The Russian ruble was moving. We brought that up last week. Again, this is some of the macro stuff I'm going to be watching, and unless we see the markets really make a big move, I'm going to be watching some of that stuff to give me a better idea of how things are unfolding. So that is going to be the main thing I will be watching coming into next week. We will see for volatility and how that confirms. And then finally, even as far as playing this, there's still a lot of hot money. The market is moving very, very fast. There's opportunities on both sides. One of my favorite strategies I've been executing, it's been working out very, very well in this marketplace. Make them free and watch the cash balance, ladies and gentlemen. We trimmed a lot even on Friday, but we will talk about that. But that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, the first thing is going to be exactly what we did last week or even on Friday. You guys remember we had a nice play. It was like Apple $15 into $500 a contract, but it was playing this philosophy. You guys even saw the McDonald's and the HDs. I even got exercised on McDonald's shares, so I'm actually short those. We'll talk about that. But the main thing I'm going to be watching for is confirming volatility, and then pretty much depending on the prices in the morning or how long it takes to confirm it, play the laggard. If you're going to see the broader market get hit and you're going to see profit taking, sell off, whatever the reason may be, pay attention to the laggers and leaders. And now that too is going to kind of give you an idea of how I want to play next week as well, because there's still opportunities and the market is telling you stuff, even with how some stocks have moved coming off of last week. So now those two plays now, or those two things I'm looking at, Microsoft and Ulta, and now I want to set myself up for both sides. Careful on the short term. We've seen that getting time and with the calls and puts, that has been the answer. So I'm looking at a few plays. There might be some shorter term plays, and with that, I want to make them free cash balance. But I took a lot of cash on Friday, so if we get volatility, I will be looking for more plays just like last week, HD, McDonald's, and Apple. But then now I also want to look for some other plays that could hedge me towards the upside. And there's some specific reasons why I like these. So the first one, Microsoft, I have these October calls and pretty much they're not down as much as I would have expected. So we really saw tech move a lot this last few weeks, and I bought these calls literally at the high. It was the October 300s. We bought them at $90, and I think I made those free, but I'm still holding those two. But even after this drop, they've came down to 79 cents. So I kind of want to see how those will play out and give myself exposure to both sides. Again, volatility is what we're looking for, but that's the first one. And then the next one, Ulta, we have those old plays. Those are really, really clap, but why I like it, and this is what I would pay attention for. Post these below if you saw any of these plays, but they closed up. So even in the last 2 days as the market was selling off, remember they had earnings. We got to confirm how they did, but you're seeing them go up while the market is selling off. That's kind of that sign of rotation. And remember, Apple's influence has been very, very big on the market. So you're not really seeing all of the smaller individual moves. And that's where I think companies like Ulta come in. So I'm watching them. And that is pretty much it. Again, like I said, HD, McDonald's, Apple, if the volatility continues. As far as everything else, I need to handle these McDonald's plays. I got exercised on those 212.50s. If you remember, we had two left, so they shorted me negative 200 shares, even though this was a cash account, but I was like $1 in the money, so I'm gonna have to close those out. But one big thing on Friday, I did what I did on Thursday. We took a lot of profit off the table. So we had some really, really cool Apple plays. We even had a weekly that we burned a couple $100 on. We got a little greedy at the end, but I cut half of those EEM plays on the Decembers, half of the January EEM plays on the 35. Took a lot of profit from the weeklies we were holding, and that was pretty much it. But I made another emphasis to watch the cash balance, and then some of those bigger plays that we had that we were up on, I made those free. So there's that. As far as everything else, I am going to be watching Apple. I think they have the potential to move a lot. Again, they've already moved. I think this is almost like 10% or something. That's its own little mini correction in a way. And that's why a lot of people are, watching the broader market. This is pretty sizable. So I'm going to watch that. Saw that play we made on Friday. I think there's going to be some opportunities for mispricing. I talked about that a few weeks ago. We hit those big plays on Friday, so we're going to keep watching those. I'm still in those Amazon plays, watching Tesla again. Part of even this downside with Tesla, they did not get included into the S&P. I've heard talks that they haven't got it or that it's still upcoming. Some people are saying they missed it. So I don't know which is which, but I will say this, that is definitely going to be affecting the stock price because you remember the run-up that led into all of that. But watch them, watch USO. I'm still in those plays. I believe I made some of them free. No, I still have the full 100 position on there. So I still have those January puts. That's actually a pretty large position. So watch them. Those Caterpillars, I took profit on those. I got puts on them, but these are one of the companies going up. So watch them, watch how they move. And then Microsoft, again, they didn't go too crazy in the mix of everything, but they were still up. And like we said with those calls, then finally just watch all of the companies. I mean, all of them plus NVIDIA, the companies that got added to the Dow and all of that movement we saw last week. You saw CRM move pretty big. It was actually one of the bigger ways on the Dow. You saw Honeywell kind of hold up a little bit. So you're getting a lot of push and pull, and that's going to be important. And then finally, gold. I would even say this is that last play, but like we talked about, use those GLDs as a place marker. And now I've noticed These plays are down 10%. So I got gold at a pretty high price, but this is what I was talking about with kind of fact that oil is just starting to move. You're catching gold in its little range here, not falling below, but not going up anymore. Same thing, UUP. We've talked about the dollar in the range, and now even TLT. Keep an eye out for all three of those. Watch if oil or anything else could move it, but that will be the main focus of the week if we see volatility. And that is all, and that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need the balances budgeted. Cash in your account. You gotta be nimble. Don't get too jumpy. There is still the rest of the year. Spreads and events. Go slow, go small, and get ready. But the code loves you. I love you. I'm gonna see you in the morning. Let's go.